Most people know that when the United States gets involved in a war in the Middle East, it's over natural resources, right? We've done it over and over and over. How many people realize there is a natural gas field off the coast of Gaza? Yep. What's happened over the past year? Pipelines are getting blown up. Europe is getting cut off from gas from Russia and all this and that, right? Well, how was Hamas allowed to attack Israel? Well, Israel's supposedly the best in counterintelligence, right? They're supposed to know all this stuff. Very strange how all that happened on the 7th, that they didn't know. It just happened, right? No, it was allowed to happen. It was allowed to happen so Israel could take over Gaza and get the natural gas fields. The natural gas field was found in 1999, early 2000s, somewhere along in there. Even back a couple months ago, Israel gave Gaza stuff to drill with off the coast. Guys, all this stuff happens for a reason. We have talked about this and talked about this. This stuff just doesn't happen, right? It's pre-planned. You know, they knew that, hey, if we let Gaza or Hamas attack us, then we have a reason to go in there and take over Gaza, right? Well, if they take over Gaza, guess what they have? If they annex that into their country, that whole area, they say this is now Israel, they own the rights to the oil out or to the natural gas, right? This stuff is all pre-planned. Guys, it's getting to the point of just plumb ridiculousness, and what's going to wind up happening is it's going to be a huge major event over there because Egypt, they want to claim rights to it. You got all these countries over there wanting to claim rights to this natural gas field. But who do you think the United States will back in saying no, that's theirs? They're going to back Israel. That's why we have so much over there. That's why we're sending all these Navy, these ships over there. We're sending troops into the area. I mean, there's more to this than we know, right? But nobody is talking about this natural gas field that's off the coast of Gaza, especially after all the natural gas issues. You had Nord Stream blow up. You had another pipeline blow up a while ago. You have all these natural gas pipelines tearing up, right? Or blowing up, tearing up, whatever you want to call it. There, of course, we'll never know who did it. You know, they supposedly did a investigation into it, and they know who done it, but they're not telling us who done it. People have said the United States military did it. People say Russia did it. People say this country, that country did it. We'll never know exactly who did it. You know, if the world's still here in 150 years, maybe our great 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 grandkids will know about it or something like that. They'll figure out who did it. But as of right now, that's the only thing that's making sense over there, right? Because wars are fought over natural resources. You even go as far as Russia into Ukraine. The area Russia is trying to annex into Ukraine, it's their resources there. That's why they're wanting that area, and plus they're wanting to go to the river. I always said when this war started in Ukraine that Russia appeared to only want to the river. If you look at a map, there's a river that runs pretty much north to south in Ukraine. That's a natural border for them, but also it includes all these natural resources for Russia, right? This is why this stuff's allowed to happen, guys. You know, we're not privy to it. Some people will catch on to it, some people won't, because you know now they're just telling us every day. You know, it's the Holocaust over there all over again because that drums up support for Israel, right? Because anytime you say Holocaust, you immediately flash back and remember what you were taught in school about the Nazis and what they did to the Jews. You know, how they murdered millions of them for just being a Jew, right? Well, people get fired up over that. You know, that's why we hear so much word Nazi, Nazi, Nazi in these wars that are going on now. That's a Nazi. Those people over there are Nazis, right? Because it drums up support. Because people, believe it or not, can immediately think back, be like, we're talking about Holocaust here, right? So now you got Israel pretty much saying they're going to take over Gaza. You know, they haven't come out and said they want the whole area, but they want this certain area, right? Right now they're focusing on North Gaza because they're telling everybody to go to South Gaza. Guys, I always tell you, read up, research, read your history and things like that. Anytime the United States gets involved in the Middle East this heavily, is over resources. I'm sure there's some kind of deal already worked out to supply the EU nations with natural gas once this is over. And of course, we're going to put a lot of money into it, right? And make sure that We get our cut, right? That's you also got to remember here that before this happened, the Hamas attack on Israel, Israel was having protests and riots over their judicial system. You got to remember that. Well, then a surprise attack happens, and now everybody in that country is patriotic. They're focused on one enemy. They want to go in and just wipe them off the face of the earth, right? These people over have been fighting for centuries. You know, it's not since just 1967 or something like that. They have been fighting for centuries over there. When you sit down and actually look at what's going on, you sit down and look at why would these two countries, all of a sudden just go to war, right? And you start looking back and say, well, this pipeline blew up, that pipeline blew up. EU nations only have so much natural gas on hand. The United States can only send so much over there. Okay, there's natural gas off the coast of Gaza. They don't want the Palestinians to have it. They don't want them to be able to claim rights to it and fund terrorism, right? No, they want Israel to get it. We want Israel to get that. That is what's probably going on over. That's my opinion on it. I may be 100% wrong, but natural resources is why countries go to war most of the time. The only time the United States gets as heavily involved in the Middle East, there's some form of natural resource there that we're wanting, or we're wanting certain people to have and certain people not to have. Let me know your thoughts on it, and let me know, did you even know there was a natural gas field off the coast of Gaza? I'll put a link in the description where you can go read about it. It was found in 1999, early 2000, sometime in there they discovered it. And guys, that makes more sense of why this was allowed to happen once you start putting pieces together. That, hey, why was this allowed to happen over there? How was Hamas allowed to happen? How could they attack Israel, supposedly the greatest counterintelligence country in the world? How was this happen? Okay, why was all these pipelines blown up in the last year? Who can benefit from that? Do they want Palestine to have full access to it? No. Do they want Egypt to claim it? No. That's why all these countries over are bigger. Let me know your thoughts on it. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person that can do it. Stay safe. Keep prepping this stuff over there. We'll get bigger than what's going on right now, guys. It's going to get bigger. We're eventually going to have stuff happen here in the United States due to what is going on over there. Guys, stay safe and keep prepping.